we will do it many, many times until we realize that we meet the same person in different bodies.
Okay.
Right? Until we realize that we keep dating the same people, until we realize I needed to face my response to anger. You know where? When my daughter started to be angry. Because
okay.
I could run away from everyone, from my ex-husband, from parents, from colleagues, but I couldn't run away from my daughter, right? So there will be always that point when the person will need to take responsibility for whatever is happening in their life. There is this very beautiful saying that I keep repeating, that life will provide you with people and circumstances that will show you where you are not free yet. So now to understand root cause, we need to go subconscious mind, because subconscious mind is 90% of our behaviors, reactions, triggers, emotions, and logical is only 10%. And if the person understood it logically, they wouldn't need help. We cannot ask direct logical questions because we will keep you in logical. So to access subconscious, we need to learn the language of subconscious. A language of subconscious is images, stories, metaphors, everything that you can think about when you're in dream state, your dreams, or when you talk to 5-year-old child. For subconscious mind, there is no timeline.
Okay. Sure,
and this is one of the biggest challenges, because if that part of subconscious mind is triggered, that once was very upset with particular situation when you were 4 years old, it feels it exactly same now.
Right.
Because there is no time. Then the best access to that part of your subconscious mind is also emotion. The story triggers emotion, so then you can look at it. If we, for example, ask someone to look at this image and think about relationships, they will start telling the story. And every person will tell you different story based on their subconscious. Some people will say that this beautiful picture is very positive, is like I am one with the partner. And some people will feel suffocated and say, it's too much for me, there is no enough space, even though the picture is the same, right? Life purpose is not something we need to find or learn about. It's something we need to access. It's the journey. So finding the purpose is the journey. But let me just share a few types of purpose that I observe.
Welcome to The Big Why, a podcast about life's biggest questions. As we experience more material abundance, we face deeper spiritual hunger. And the gap between what we have and what we truly need leads us back to the big questions of life. Where do we come from? Why are we here? And where are we going? As of today, no one has found the answer. I believe that each human being is part of the truth. It's like a puzzle that wants to come together, yet there are always some pieces missing. This podcast is striving to put part of this puzzle together. I'm Anne-Kristin Vaudour. I grew up in East Germany and I have lived in China, Italy and Hong Kong. Now I call Singapore my home. Living across cultures has shaped my lens of life and work. In each episode of this podcast, I'm speaking to people from different walks of life, to artists, coaches, modern mystics, academics, scientists, mothers, migrants, and many more. I talk to them about their work, about their values, beliefs, and what gives them meaning. And it's not only about the answers, it's also about the search. Enjoy the episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Big Why, a podcast where we explore the meaning of life and discuss what can help us to find our true purpose. And today I'm delighted to welcome Tania Kodliuk. Tania is a conscious living advocate. She is part of the 100 Women in Tech movement in Singapore. And she is on a mission to impact 400 million minds. A very admirable and ambitious goal. And I suppose it is for that reason that you have built the Odyssea AI app. So Tania is a person that combines this rare mix of technology, AI, and psychology. So that's a very powerful blend, and she's kind of merging those worlds to build meaningful things, which is the app. And I mean, I have tried the app in the past. I think it was the beginning stage, right? It was very, very impressive. So the app is basically kind of how to say, exploring the subconscious mind, and it helps people to understand their relationships, their feelings, and it's helping them to find their true purpose. And so I would like to ask you, first of all, like, what made this project so meaningful for you? And maybe you can explain a little bit better than me what it is actually about.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for kind words. That's really amazing how you see the app and how you see my work. I appreciate that.
I love it. Yeah.
Of course, the app came from my own journey, right? And without maybe going too many details, but I want to mention that we all have our own childhood that defines us. And I will maybe explain a little bit more why childhood defines us the most. But I was born in Ukraine, and I was born in a very small village, the family that was not very rich and was trying to make the living and do the best for everyone. So my parents got divorced when I was 5, and it was quite intense experience for me as a child, because there was even the moment when I don't remember that I was so emotionally overwhelmed that very often for children we dissociate from the event when we cannot process, right? From the other side, my mom, she was kindergarten teacher. Okay. So she invested so much in me, especially in my brain development, to learn a lot of things, to be curious. I had amazing memory because she taught me so many poems since I was maybe 2 years old, that all those things made me perform very well at school. So I was often told that I am very smart, I am genius, I will change the world, which kind of beautiful things to say, but at the same time for a child that's programming, I will change the world one day. Right? So then moving forward, 30 years later, I live as this achiever, always trying to achieve more and more and more, because what's the final goal is to change the world, right? So it's never enough. You always need to have more titles, more certificates, more knowledge, go deeper, investigate more, and learn everything. So it's never enough to learn only one particular direction. But every time when there is question mark, I would go and research.
So there was this huge expectation. Would you see it as an expectation or programming?
Yes, it was in my head.
Okay.
Right? Of course, it does when they say that it's like compliment for a child. I want child to be confident. Yeah. Right? But then how the child perceives that information is very different.
Right.
Right. So that was one part, which is achievement. Another part, of course, divorce of my parents impacted me in some particular way. And I found myself 30 years later divorcing my now ex-husband, exactly same age as my mom was. Okay. With exactly the 5-year-old child.
Oh, okay. So what do you attribute that to? Like programming, repeating history, or what do you mean? How did that come?
Yeah, absolutely. So it took me many years to understand, because that sparked the biggest question, why?
Okay.
Right? Why me being smart, intelligent, ended up repeating completely the same pattern as my mom did. Right? What do I don't see? Because I was following playbook.
Okay,
right?
I see.
And from one side, playbook for career was working for me very well.
Yeah.
But playbook for relationships didn't.
All right.
Right?
Okay,
because you don't have that model, you don't have example. So very often when we don't have model, we would say, I will do opposite. Right? You know many stories that daughters of alcoholics, they will say, I will never, ever marry alcoholic. And what happens? They end up marrying exactly their father.
Okay.
So they're very, very interesting that we think sometimes that we just learn something from parents and repeat, but also when we say, I never ever will do that, it becomes our shadow.
Okay.
And then we deny the shadow until we actually replicate in our life exactly same event to look at the shadow.
Okay, I mean, what I understand from your story is, I mean, something that all of us kind of experience, that we, I mean, apart from like if someone has like perfect parents, we always want to, we look at the mistakes of our parents and we want to do the opposite, right? We are like, okay, I never want to do this. And then we switch into the opposite. But what you are saying is that this becomes our shadow, and then we actually repeat the mistakes of our parents. Is it?
Yes, it can be a completely different way, right? A completely different path that our parents did. But why, the moment we judge something very intensely with emotional charge, we will need to look at it at some point, right? That's the whole entire healing journey, spiritual journey. It's actually looking back at something that once we judged so much.
So what would you say in your case, what made, like, let's say, history repeat itself? What was that shadow that you overlooked, kind of?
And then there were many things. There was one is me not processing a lot of emotions from my childhood. And when we don't process, we repress them. So we will live with people in situations that will kind of project the light on those parts of us, right? And then we need to deal with them. But if you don't know how to deal with them, we will just blame the other people or circumstances. So in my case, that was how I deal with anger. It was very hard for me to deal with anger since I was a child, because I grew up in the environment when the man will be angry. And it will make me feel unsafe. Right? So that safety is so important for a child. It's like fundamental.
Absolutely.
A fundamental core belief and story. I want to be safe. Right? So when someone is angry or someone is even physically abusive, you grow up in the environment, you don't feel safe. So what you're doing after, you're looking for safety. Right? So you're trying to find friends, environments, marry people who make you feel safe. But when at particular moment, something happened, right? We're all emotional. You don't feel safe with them anymore. It triggers that inner child, that 5 years old. And this is what happened in me, because I couldn't deal with anger, right? And at that moment, you think, oh, it's all about this situation, but it's never. It's very, very rare. It's about the present moment.
Like anger in yourself or anger in other people? Other people.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Think about that. There are a few primal emotions, right? And every person will, if you look back in your life, you will have some particular pattern, right? You might say there are people whose primary emotion is anger. There are people whose primary emotion is guilt. There are people with primary emotion can be discussed sadness, right? If we go to primary negative emotions, of course, there are positives, right?
Negative.
So my primary emotion was guilt. This is what I learned from my mom. Right? Because her primary emotion was guilt. So then I couldn't deal with anger. And my mind was always telling me it's about this particular situation, this particular fight. But then when I learned, it was never about that. It was just amplifying that inner child of mine, 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, who couldn't deal with anger, right? And it would either put me in the guilt mode, or it will get me so scared that I will run away. So again, running away is our coping mechanism, right? Some people will fight back. Some people will run away. Some people will escape through addictions. I was escaping through work. Right? So to just summarize, to answer your question, because I am giving so many details, what I saw that I repeated my mom's pattern just because, not because the same journey, but because the same primary beliefs and emotions.
Yeah.
I'm not safe. Every time when someone is angry, it's my guilt.
Okay.
Right? And how do I cope? I run away.
Okay. And when did you realize that this pattern is impacting your life?
Much later. After divorce, I started going to the therapy. I started learning more about myself. And this is also a very significant part of my life that brought me to the app, because I was not able to find very clear solutions, right? In therapy, first I went for talking therapy. You talk about your situation now. You don't go back. So you kind of don't find the answers. What actually driving that behavior, that emotions, don't find it. Right?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I did CBT as well, cognitive behavior therapy, and it's very limited, I must say. It helps, but only to a certain extent, right? So, and what was it that you found that is more helpful?
Yeah, so for everyone will be very different, right?
Yeah.
Because when do we need to talk? When we have so much going on in our heads, thoughts and these loops, right? And emotions, and we have no one to share. Then it's very good to find therapists that you can just talk it out.
Agree.
Otherwise, you're just repressing it inside of you, right?
Yeah.
And it was needed for me for a few months. But after that, we want to find the reasons, root causes. This is what I call root cause for what happened. And to find that, I needed to go in subconscious mind.
Okay.
That's why this whole research about subconscious mind came, because that helped me a lot.
So the subconscious mind was the key to solve this puzzle for you, right?
There are more.
There are more. Okay, I see. Yeah, but so maybe tell me a little bit more, like what you find so fascinating about the subconscious mind and your research of the subconscious mind.
Right. So first, let's define what's subconscious mind.
Sure.
Right? If we go to neuroscience, the neuroscience explores brain, so there is no conscious subconscious mind. But when we go in psychology, like young psychology, so we will have conscious subconscious mind. Why is that? Because subconscious mind is not separate instance, right? It all happens in our brain. But subconscious mind is like autopilot of our brain.
Okay.
Right? It's the network of neural circuits that wired enough times in repeatable mode that it became just so strong on repetition that every time when we hit the similar situation, similar emotion, it will wire by itself. Right? So we don't need to come up with the new solution, because brain already knows how to react, how to respond.
So it's our programming, basically.
Absolutely. It's like programming, but it was designed by nature, biology for good reason, right? You're learning how to drive the car. And first time you need to think about everything, where I put my leg, my hand, and it's so overwhelming. But as you do it more and more and more and more,
it becomes automatic.
Yeah, it becomes autopilot.
Yeah.
And then you feel good, because you can even talk on your phone while driving a car.
No,
not recommended at all.
That's not a suggestion.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
From the other side, you also can learn that every time when people fight, when I am child, I'm not safe. I don't know what to expect, right? I might be punished. And then you create that neural circuit as well.
Yes.
Right? The loud noises is not equal safety. And you just carry with you again and again without updating. Because when you're adult, if you are really, really present in this situation, whoever screams at you, you can protect yourself, right? You can always ask to take time out. You can always say, let's talk tomorrow. There's so many solutions. But what actually happens in that particular situation when someone raises their voice, that 5 years old, 6 years old gets triggered. And that part of you doesn't see any other solutions. That part of you just learned that I am not safe now.
Right.
And that emotion is so intense, it's almost, I will die now. It's so scary.
It's an instinctive reaction.
Absolutely.
And what do you think can people do to become really aware of these triggers? Because I mean, I know it from my own life, those triggers like hold us back enormously unless we really get aware of them and we kind of identify them and work on them, which is a lot of work. So what have you discovered? What's the best way to kind of work with those triggers?
Yeah, that's a very good point. First, how do people come to it? People come to that realization when they look back and they repeated the same behavior many times. That they feel like, oh, it's disturbing my life. Right? For example, you are at work and you're happy with what you are doing, and suddenly there is the one person that always triggers in you particular emotion. Right? And every time when you have a meeting with that person, you feel, I am not myself. Something is out, right?
Yes.
And when it's repeated many times, then you say, okay, I need to look at it because it doesn't look adequate to this particular situation.
Yeah,
right? So
I think that is already important because a lot of people don't realize. They're just like, oh, I don't like that person. You know, I don't want to work with that person. But actually changing the perspective and say, okay, and actually go into it and affront it like, okay, why does that person trigger me so much? Why is it so impossible for me to deal with this and this reaction of that person? I think that already helps enormously to kind of get aware of these things, and just instead of just saying, okay, that person, you know, I better don't deal with that person, or I, try to avoid that person. Would you say that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And I think that, we will do it many times until we realize that we meet the same person in different bodies.
Okay.
Right? Until we realize that we keep dating the same people, until we realize I needed to face my response to anger. You know where? When my daughter started to be angry. Because I could run away from everyone, from my ex-husband, from parents, from colleagues, but I couldn't run away from my daughter.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. You have to deal
with that. So
with
then I
that.
need to learn how to deal with that. Right? So there will be always that point when the person will need to take responsibility for whatever is happening in their life. And you're right, we will be ignoring it for a long time, we will be escaping from it. But there is this very beautiful saying that I keep repeating, that life will provide you with people and circumstances that will show you where you're not free yet.
Right.
So it's almost mirror to your shadow. You will always meet the mirror to your shadow.
Yeah, that's a very Jungian thought. And I think the audience knows that I'm absolutely fascinated with Carl Jung. And it's true. I mean, our natural response is to avoid challenges and to avoid conflict. But once you actually welcome those challenges in your life and you look at them more clearly and see that they're there for you to actually, that's the whole process of individuation, to become your whole self. It changes so much in life. It's amazing. You become aware of things. You get more equipped for all the problems and challenges that you're facing, and you get unstuck. And tell me a little bit more about yourself, and especially I think family members are big, right? You mentioned your daughter. Can you maybe tell an example? I think that's especially important for parents who are facing the same issues. What helped you? I mean, what was the trigger that your daughter triggered in you, and how did you overcome that successfully?
Yeah, so trigger was that when she gets angry, I would feel like I just want to run away. I cannot deal with her anger, or I will become very sleepy.
Yeah,
right?
I know that one.
It's a very common response to someone's anger. So what does it say? That my body is not safe, right?
Yeah.
And my mind is trying to grasp for the situation. There's no danger here, but my body is scared, right?
Yeah.
So the next step is start asking, okay, is this reaction adequate to this situation or not? And this question by itself can be so healing. Is if everyone who is listening can ask yourself this question: is it adequate to this situation? And when the answer is no, so what kind of part of me it is amplifying, right? And of course, now we go to the tools. There are many tools to go in subconscious mind. You can start slowly by just asking yourself the questions and journaling. When you journal, you let your logical mind to turn off. And you will start journaling. Did it happen to me before? With how many people did it happen? Did it happen only with people who behave in this particular way? Right? Did it happen to me in the childhood? Right? And the goal of this journey is to get to the first event that happened to you in your childhood. And this is the most difficult because it can be very early age. You might not remember, and journaling will be limited in that, or even discussion will be limited in that. So we will need to go with the tools like hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy, first, it relaxes your mind. It puts your mind in what we call hypnotic state. Right? There are 4 brain waves. There is beta, alpha, zeta, delta. There is also gamma, which is high frequency. But when we talk, we are in beta. When you do 5 minutes meditation now, we will relax, our body will relax, we'll be in alpha. If you go in between the sleep and awakened state, it will be zeta. So in that zeta state, or even alpha, we can access the very early childhood events when it happened to us first time. And we will access that part of us that still lives it, that still is inside of you, reacting to everything what's happening now.
Right. Is that like it's an altered stage of consciousness, right?
Yes, you can call it altered.
Yeah. And does this happen during hypnosis or also meditation or sleep, or like whenever this zeta waves, right, gets active, alpha and zeta, you said, right?
Yes.
Yeah. When they get activated during what times usually?
Right.
Like sleep or not sleep?
So delta is sleep. So it's the moment when you will already not be conscious. You will not remember. You will just sleep, right? It's the slowest brain waves. So zeta, it is right after you wake up. Or right before you falling asleep. Right? That's why sometimes we say, if you want to reprogram that belief, for example, I'm not safe, and you want to feel I'm safe in my body, I'm safe in my life. So you can, the simplest thing you can do right after you wake up, when you're still in that state,
understand.
You can say, I am safe.
So you have to have a certain control of what, like, I mean, I think what I'm getting at is, so if we are purely rational right now, we are talking, we cannot access that, right? And in our sleep, when the rational mind is like completely shut off, right? We also cannot access it. So it has to be a state where we are kind of drowsy or not completely aware, but aware enough to also access this information.
Exactly. But because when we're fully asleep, there are other processes happening in our brain, right? We are going through the different cycles of sleep, the REM state, so it will be very different. But that in between, what you said, zeta waves, it will be the most receptive state. Why? Because our brain's neuroplasticity is the highest. And it comes to your point, why we have this programming in subconscious. So between the age of 0 and 7, neuroplasticity is in its highest. So we are receptive to everything. And again, biologically, it's very beneficial because we are born in this huge world. We need to learn very fast, right? So if we learn in the speed of 40 years old, we will never learn. So everything what we see, we absorb very, very quickly.
There's this curiosity that small children have, right? Questioning everything.
Questioning everything. And even like every single phrase that someone says, even to 1-year-old baby, they will remember. Now, on subconscious level. Yes. They will remember, and sometimes it can be very strong phrases.
Even they don't understand language? It's interesting.
And now it's also very important part that it's not about only language or statements, right? We say, I have belief, I am not safe. But that belief, it's just one layer of what is stored. So with that belief, you all have emotional layer. Will be some particular emotion like fear, right?
Yeah.
With on the top of that, it also can be physical sensation. A lot of children that are physically abused, right, or have some kind of threat, they will feel sensations in their body, right? And then it will be also the later on coping mechanism. What do I do with that, right? Some children will react with a fight back.
Yeah.
Some children will freeze, right? Some children will run away.
So anything to not let the emotion come up.
Absolutely. So think about that program as many, many things all together. And very often we are trying to find the memory, but we cannot because it's too much hidden under emotions. And then when you ask about what kind of tools do we use, there are so many tools, because one tool is to go directly in that language statement. But if we cannot access it, we need to access emotion first or physical sensation, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And through the emotions, we can think about, if you know that it's about parents, writing letters to your parents.
Okay. Yeah.
It will trigger a lot of emotions, right? Because again, you're going outside of your logical mind or prefrontal neocortex brain, and then you go to the part of brain that's responsible for emotions. And then it will bring that part of you that is still feeling it, right?
Right. Yeah. And the letter is, you don't send it, you just do it for yourself, basically, right?
Yes.
Okay. To kind of let the emotion come up. And is it like free? Is it called free writing? Like when you just write, and whatever comes up, and then what do you do with the letter?
Yes. So there are many types of letters depending on the goal, right? When we just try to understand what is between us, we can just write. But when we get clear that there is particular emotional charge between me and someone else, parents or ex-boyfriends or whoever it is, right? I want to trigger the emotion. So that's what we are doing in the app, because sometimes we know all those tools, but it's so hard to do it by yourself. To sit and do it by yourself, it's almost voluntarily going in the worst emotion you ever felt. People cannot do that. It's very, very threatening for our mind as well, right? So that's why in the app, we will give the prompts. Right? I'm still feeling, you made me shut down because of, and we will unpeel until we get to the deeper and deeper emotions.
Right.
And also model will be trained in the way that it will respond how where person is. When the person is too emotional, it will start bringing them back to more grounded.
Ooh, I think that was so difficult to design. I mean, I have tried the app, and actually I would like to talk to you more about the app, because I think it's really an amazing product. If I remember correctly, in the first interface, you can choose what kind of issue you would like to address, like relationships, life purpose, or depression, anxiety. And then once you've chosen, you bring people on a journey. Can I call it like that? Because you have prompts, and not only verbal prompts, also visual prompts, right? So I guess that's to shut out the rational mind as much as possible, right? Because like sometimes you respond to visuals different than to words. So tell me a little bit about that process, because I find it really fascinating, and it has an amazing effect. If you can maybe explain a little bit how you came up with that powerful design.
Thank you. Yes, so we have two main steps. It sounds very complex, but everything what we're talking about just now, it has two steps. One, we want to understand, and second, we want to transform or change. That's it, right? So we want to understand something that we are not happy with, right? If I'm sitting now, I feel comfortable, I'm happy with everything. Then suddenly, my pillow is not comfortable, so I will try to understand what's that, right? And then I will change it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right? Of course,
Quick fix.
of course, is much more complex. But in the app, the first part we want to understand. So of course, the user will define in which area of life, relationships, career, purpose, health. And then we want to understand not only what's happening with you now, but what is the root cause, right?
Yeah.
That in childhood, that first core thing that
it
happened
goes
to you.
all the way back until then. Okay.
So now to understand the root cause, we need to go subconscious mind, because subconscious mind is 90% of our behaviors, reactions, triggers, emotions, and logical is only 10%.
Yeah, that's the iceberg image that we have.
And if the person understood it logically, they wouldn't need help, right?
Yes.
Why we cannot understand? Because it's hidden. Right? It's hidden because after the age of 7, we get that separation between logical and subconscious, and then it's harder to access.
Okay.
So now in the app, how can we access the subconscious mind? We cannot ask direct logical questions because we will keep you in logical. So to access subconscious, we need to learn the language of subconscious. A language of subconscious is images, stories, metaphors, everything that you can think about when you're in dream state, your dreams.
Yeah.
Or when you talk to 5-year-old child.
True.
Right?
Yeah. I heard it's like the language of stories and images is like a much more ancient language than words, basically.
Right.
So, and that's, you're right. That's how we communicate with children, images and stories and metaphors.
Right.
Okay, that's so interesting.
Right? Because if you want to teach the child something new, and you have 2 methods. One is logically explain them, this is what this cup doing, you put the water, etc. Or you tell the story, they will remember story much more.
True. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Because again, it refers to your neuroplasticity of the brain.
Okay.
Right? So the reverse also works. If you ask the questions through the story, I suddenly appeal not to your logical mind, but to your subconscious mind.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Right. I mean, that's how to say that. And is it like, are we also automatically being transported back to our childhood because we listen to stories in our childhood, or how does that work?
So the stories, they are still in our mind.
Yeah.
Right? So for our mind, for subconscious mind, there is no timeline.
Oh, okay. Sure,
and this is one of the biggest challenges, because if that part of subconscious mind is triggered, that once was very upset with particular situation when you were 4 years old, it feels it exactly same now.
Right.
Because there is no time.
Right. Yeah, it's like in dreams. In dreams, you also have no sense of time. Everything gets mixed up and...
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
But then the best access to that part of your subconscious mind is also emotion, right? Emotion and physical sensation. That's all what art is about. And we are both in love with art.
Yeah, we love art.
You
exactly.
even more than me, I guess.
Well, it's both the appreciation, I think. Yeah.
Right? So every piece of art, everything, painting, music, movies, it's all about triggering emotion.
It is, yeah.
The story triggers emotion. So then you can look at it. If we, for example, ask someone to look at this image and think about relationships, they will start telling the story.
Yeah, that's actually a good exercise, I would say.
Right?
Yeah, because we don't need to think about it rationally. It's just an emotion that is being evoked, basically.
Right. And every person will tell you a different story based on their subconscious. Some people will say that this beautiful picture is very positive, is like I am one with the partner. And some people will feel suffocated and say, it's too much for me. There is no enough space, even though the picture is the same, right?
That is so true. I mean, both Tania and myself, we work with images in our work, and you give any kind of image to people and let them talk about it, and everyone sees completely different things in the image. And so that is the key to access these kind of emotions, basically.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So interesting.
And it's the mastery to that, right? And sometimes even, we are both therapists, we both coaches, we can help people, but also, how challenging it is to do it for yourself.
Yes.
Because you're almost trying to be in different parts of your mind,
yes.
right? As the therapist, you are in your adult mode, right? And then you're trying to access the child mode. And it's very difficult. That's why we need someone who can assist us.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, you can't do it yourself. To a limited extent, I would say. Yes. Yeah, it's very limited.
Yes. We can hit the some things, but if it's very painful, if it's very emotional, emotions will take over, right? It means that inner child of yours will take over.
Okay.
And then you cannot.
I never thought about that. Yeah. I was always like, okay, I have all that knowledge. I should be able to know about everything and do everything myself. But no, you actually need another person. And why do you think is that? What does the other person do for in the process?
So they can guide you in the way that you relax and you go into the inner child mode, right? Without trying to keep this reality, right?
Okay.
Because when do we heal? When we release whatever is stored there in the past.
Yeah.
Right? So we release emotions, we release physical sensations. The whole point of healing is just to release. It's not to gain something new, because we are already whole and complete. And I think this is the main message I want to give in the app as well, in Odyssea app, that you already have everything.
Right.
You're already complete, you're already healed. What we need to do is just release whatever is still there, outdated, not serving you now, right? And we can do it only when we go into that part of us, right? And we leave it. Because once we didn't have capabilities to feel those emotions, we were not allowed, or it was too overwhelming. And now we catch with that part of us and we say, you are safe to feel it now. You're safe to express. You're safe to do whatever you want now, right?
So you would say it's not about learning new things and kind of upgrading our system. It's more about decluttering, like like putting out what doesn't serve us, right?
Yeah, it feels like it is duality of our life, right? We're learning more things just to let go of the past and be in the present.
Right.
That's why all the Buddhist way is also right. At the moment we learn to be always in the present, we will not be disturbed by the past. And then we don't need to go into all those events, right? So it's not only the way, right? And we need to find the balance. Because if we are always present, if we maintain that very clear focus on this present moment, and be present not only in our mind, but also in our body and in our heart, that's it. That's happiness. That's enlightenment.
How do you mean we are whole already? I mean, I mentioned the part of learning and upgrading. Do you believe learning and upgrading is still essential, or do you feel like we already have all the knowledge and everything in ourselves?
I think we learn only to access our inner knowledge.
Okay, I see.
Because all the answers about ourselves are inside of us.
About ourselves?
Yes. And we also mentioned life purpose. Life purpose is not something we need to find or learn about. It's something we need to access.
How?
By removing everything that is not ours. Again, it's all about letting go of the clutter, but not finding something outside.
So the noise and distractions, so we get rid of all of that, and so we can like really access can I call it like our higher self or something like that, something that is deep in us already. So it's a matter of accessing that part of ourselves, and once we are able to do that, then we will actually know what our life purpose is.
Right. And well, life purpose is a big topic.
It is.
There are many, many, many types of life purpose, right? But again, as a child, we know that. We don't understand that, but we know. And we are born with particular combination of qualities already, right? We are born in particular location and family with particular set of genes and how we look and the interests as well in the child. You can see the child having particular interests, right?
Yes.
That make them unique. So all that combination, it is our superpower.
Okay, so like observing children or child play is actually a big indication of what the child
Absolutely
is about.
Absolutely, right? And also the child is born with the belief that I'm safe. You cannot see the baby 3 months old that is worrying that they're not safe.
Right, hopefully
safe,
not,
right?
yeah, exactly.
So they're with parents, hopefully they're in the environment that they feel safe.
Yeah.
But then if something happens, right, that threatens the body, that it means they already reacting with particular emotion or particular feeling of not being safe, right? So what does it mean? They were safe, something happened, and it changed the perception of safety, right? So the same happens with, we know our purpose, our interests, right? As a child, I am an amazing painter. And then my parents believe that being lawyer is, it's better in the society status, or it's better in financial way. And then they tell me not out of, they don't care, they love me, right? But it is their own experience. So they say it's better if you study history, study this and this and this, and then I don't have time or space for my artistic side.
It comes usually from a good place, right? People, parents actually really believe that this is the best way for the child to go to be financially safe. And okay, so how? I mean, for people, very often there comes a time in a person's life when they feel like, okay, what I'm doing doesn't actually interest me that much, or I'm not passionate about it, and I'm on autopilot. So this kind of insight is one thing, but very often they don't know what their life is about. So how do they access their purpose? If there is a simple way.
Right.
Probably not that simple, right?
It's the journey. So finding the purpose is the journey. But let me just share a few types of purpose that I observe.
Okay.
So I'm running what I call mastermind groups, when we come together with different type of people, and every day I will give them particular task to find what I call the piece of puzzle towards your purpose, right? And we will move step by step by step. So through that, I also, and through hypnotherapy sessions, I see that different people come with different purpose. That's why if you bring these big philosophers and religion leaders, they cannot agree on what is life purpose. Because every one of them is right in their own way.
Yeah, it's their perspective.
Right. Yeah. So some people believe that there is life purpose. Every person has life purpose, which is about contribution to the world, right? Creating something good for the others. And this is true, not for everyone, but for many, many people, especially now, we can see that we want to give, we want to create something better, right? And this is what I call collective mission purpose.
Collective mission purpose.
Yes.
Tell me more.
Yes. And then you can go in the sub types of this purpose. There are builders, there are creators, there are philosophers, there are many different types, archetypes of this purpose, but it's all about, I feel satisfaction helping the others. I feel satisfaction bringing something better to the world. I feel part of something bigger. And you can find a lot of people that since the childhood, they felt they're meant to do something bigger, greater than them.
Yeah.
Right? That's all the signs of the collective mission.
Okay. But some people are actually quite happy doing small things, right? Which I find totally, fine if they feel happy with that, right?
Absolutely. And again, collective mission is not impacting millions of people, right?
So if someone decides, okay, I want to be a stay-at-home mom and take care of my kids and my family, I think that's
it, because it's that ripple effect, right?
Right.
We can impact one person who will impact 1,000 people, who will impact millions of people.
Yeah. So
right?
you start small anyway, and instead of wanting to change the world right away, you kind of, start with your own family first, right?
Exactly. And it also keeps us very humble, right? Because if we just tell either helping millions or no one, we also can get stuck, because we don't get that feedback loop, what is true and what's not.
Right. Yeah.
But I give you an example. So I was in Bali recently, and I really love a morning walk on rice fields. There is so much purity in that, the color green, the sunlight.
Love it too. Yeah.
Right. And then I'm walking, and there are the painters painting in the morning, 6 a.m. and they're already painting. And I stopped by, and his name Vayan is the local Balinese man, and he's saying that it's my purpose. Because I was born in the village of painters. And in Bali, if you know Bali, it will be village of painters, village of silver makers, village of statues makers, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't go to school. I was painting since I was 5 years old. And this is what brings me joy. And this is my contribution to the world. And this is what I'm good at. So the full ikigai. And he now questioned that, right? And for me, it's another type of purpose when you have it already so defined since childhood.
Yeah.
And you also can know about many famous composers and artists that they were so talented as a child, playing piano when they are 4 years old, right? That their purpose is already so defined in one particular area.
Would there also be people that... I mean, you said Vayan, he was born into that village of painters, and
right.
he felt it's his purpose. So I guess that he has a disposition already for the artistic, right? There might be other people born in that village that don't feel so happy being a painter, although they are born in that village, correct?
Right, absolutely. And that will be your sign or signal. Is it my purpose or not? Do I feel fulfillment from what I'm doing?
So it's the fulfillment,
right.
But if you feel that. So Vayan is obviously, it really speaks to him. So he's very lucky.
Yeah.
Actually, I meant to ask you, because I'm always wondering, there seem to be people that very early, for no reason, seem to have figured out what their purpose is, what their life is about. And then there are some people, such as myself, who kind of like really can't decide, what is the life purpose. I mean, I'm telling you an example. I had a friend. He was the son of, his parents were both medical doctors, highly educated. And since childhood, he always wanted to drive a train. He wanted to be a train driver. It came from nowhere. So that friend of mine, so since he was a boy, he was sitting at the railway, observing trains passing by, experiencing pure bliss. And when he grew up, I mean, being a train driver is an achievable goal. So he learned being a train driver, and he's happy, never looked back. And I know several of those examples where, first of all, kids turn out completely different than their parents. That means there has been no influence, and they know exactly what they want. Whereas others are just really struggling. What do you think? Where does that come from? Is this like a disposition, like a genetic disposition? Or, I mean, as I say, there was nobody in his family that has been a train driver. He was just so fascinated with trains for some reason. And that passion continued really into adulthood. So it was not just like a childish thing.
Right. Well, it is specific type of purpose, right? He knew that he likes trains, right? So it could be different scenario when his parents would insist that you need to become doctor, right? So then he would listen to them, become doctor, and maybe at some point feel unhappy and come back what he truly enjoyed.
I mean, I don't know the background, but it looks like they were okay with him being a train driver, although both of them were academics.
Right.
So, yeah.
So he was lucky,
yeah.
right? He was lucky. So this is what we call like very clear type of purpose, right? Very specific. But it's not always the case, because we define collective mission, we define the specific type of purpose like Wayan and your friend. But there is also the purpose in learning particular skills, learning particular lessons or particular emotions. Okay, and it will not be connected to the profession. And I think this is misleading, because sometimes people feel I need to know what's my profession.
Yeah.
No. For example, some people are here to learn about how to be honest with yourself, or how to find balance in life, or how to respect the others, or how to take care of your body.
That can be purpose?
That can be purpose.
Okay.
That's what I call on the soul level. Again, when we come from the different beliefs, I'm trying to integrate it in the soul level, right? So the soul come here for a particular experience. Like think about video game. And I know you're exposed to video games in some way. When we start playing video game, we almost have the screen with many different scenarios, and we can choose the scenario to build something, like build a Kindle, right? Or we can choose the scenario to upgrade yourself as a hero, to become magician, or to become very good in shooting, right? So that is internal skill. Doesn't matter what you will be doing, but you will upgrading yourself, right? So that's the skills or qualities, but there is also to learn how to feel, because we all know that the essential part of our life is emotions. Emotions drive everything. Emotions drive desires, behaviors, etc. So through the hypnotherapy, many sessions, I also understand that some people came here to learn how to feel.
Okay, so
feel
the emotions
love
as a driver, actually.
Right.
So it's not like someone like myself who's obsessing, okay, what is my purpose? What should my career be? I actually would have to go back and look much deeper in how I manage my emotions first.
Right. It's almost that how many patterns in my life I see that are all around particular emotion. Right?
Okay.
A lot of clients, also our users, come and say, I don't know how to respect men. Because in my childhood, I had a father with particular behaviors. And it's so hard for me to learn how to respect.
And it holds them back from living their life.
It just keep bringing them in the same situations again and again and again. Okay. When they will find a situation with a man they cannot respect, they will feel pain out of that. And when it repeats enough time, they start questioning, right? So then it can become the big part of their purpose is to learn how to respect. And then you will need to look, of course, inside, find that root cause, what happened with you that you cannot respect, and heal that. And this is very good point that you bringing. Is it their life only about that? It can be few types of purpose. You can have the purpose to learn emotion or to upgrade skill, and you can have another purpose which is connected to collective mission. And it also can be different seasons of life for each of them. Right?
Okay.
So, for example, between 20 and 30, I was supposed to learn how to communicate.
Right.
And then after 30, my true profession emerges.
Okay.
That's why no one can tell you your purpose. The only how we can help someone to find their purpose is to ask the right questions. So they can start finding clarity within and alignment.
What kind of questions are those usually? What are the right questions?
So there will be different types that I would ask every day. Remember in childhood?
Yeah.
Giving the stories when they imagine the life is no limitations.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people, I want to be musician, but musicians don't make money, or I will not become very good musician. So what it means that your conditioning is speaking here, right? So then I will say, imagine the situation, there is no conditioning.
Right.
There is no question about money. There is no question about can you do it or not. You have all superpowers and all time and space in the world to do that. Would you still do that? Right? That's another type, through the stories, imagination, right? The third one is look around what kind of people you admire, you respect, right? Every one of us has role models. So why, right? And sometimes with all these obvious answers, we just don't create space for that.
Okay.
We don't, right? And then also is about, there is type of purpose that is about particular people. Like here in Eastern culture, people call it karma.
Yeah.
Right? There are some souls that it's almost, I cannot live my life without that person. Is we met for a reason, we growing together. There is all this sometimes love from the first sign that we met 17 years old and we entire life together. So that also people will look at, do you have those karmic connections in your life or not? Right? And what you're supposed to learn from that connection.
Okay, that's like super complex, right? I mean, there's several shifts happening for me right now. First of all, purpose for me was like, what we invest our energy in mainly, right?
Profession.
Like a profession, exactly, career. But you are saying that purpose is, it doesn't have to be a profession. It's can be just about managing your emotions, recognizing your emotions, and leaning into them, basically. So that's one big shift. And then also what we believe, of course, our belief system, right? It's very hard for someone who grows up in Eastern culture to see purpose the way we see it in the West, maybe, right? And that's due to religious belief, family beliefs, and I mean, I never thought about it that way. That can actually kind of, let's say, turn the needle of your compass completely. That we don't see these things the same way. Like an encounter or a relationship can be like a karmic connection, right? Whereas for in the Western view, it's just an acquaintance, or someone I get along or I don't get along with, right? Super, super interesting. Your app is using a very holistic approach, right? So tell me a little bit about the logic. So let's say someone wants to manage their relationship, goes on the app, clicks on
Start.
Clicks on start, and then relationships or love life, and then what's happening to that person? Where does this go, this journey on your app?
So we will start asking the questions as we were discussing before about accessing subconscious mind and understanding many things, what's happening in their life around relationships, starting with what kind of emotions they experience in their relationships, right? Can be love, can be sadness, can be anger or guilt, right? All those entanglements that happening there. Needs, what are their primary needs? Values, every person has different values, even in different seasons of life. Patterns, hidden patterns, the way how you deal or cope or escape.
And that's all like while going through the different levels of the app, that all comes up.
Right. So the person is just doing the tasks or answering the questions. They don't know what it is about because, again, we don't logically explain. They're choosing the images, they're choosing the metaphor stories. But what we learn is what's happening inside of you, right? What are different parts of you? Because I see you as Anne, as holistic person. But in different situations, you will behave differently.
Yes.
Right? It means that different parts of you will be triggered.
Yes.
Right? And sometimes even parts of you that you're not very happy with. Like, why did I react like that? I could do it. I could say it another way. Right? So the app also will discover what we call inner parts of you. Your inner critic, your inner child, your protector, your manager.
It does identify these things just based on, wow.
Right.
Okay, wow.
So I can give you an example. When you don't like something, right? For example, you chosen to do this project, let's say podcast, and there are parts of this job or this work or this project that you like, and there are parts that you don't like, right? Because either you are not strong in that, or you just you are more abstract, less analytical, vice versa. I don't know, right? And then you need to do that work that you don't like. What will you do in that situation? Different people will do differently. Some people will push through willpower, right? Some people will procrastinate. Some people will say, I just hire someone, right? Some people will just struggle and complain, why do I need to do that? Right? So through the, how can I ask you that question? I will not ask you directly, what do you do when it doesn't work, right? Or you need to do hard work. But I will tell you, imagine you are on different planet and you are building this new civilization where your ultimate goal is happiness, right? And then you have 100 people that all work together towards that goal. And suddenly 10 of them, they don't want to do it. They say, I just want to go back to the earth. I don't enjoy it. What will you do with them? You are the leader, right? So again, I'm bringing you outside of your logical mind. And every person will answer differently. Some people will say, oh, I will just tell them you have no choice. You need to do it. Some they will try. I will try to understand what they want to do and maybe give them different tasks. Some people say, I send them back to the earth. I don't need that.
Right. And based on that scenario, that's how you go into the next level.
Right.
Oh, that's so interesting.
And the goal of all of this is first to structure your subconscious, to give you the mirror of your subconscious, right? This is your patterns, this is your values, this is your how you view yourself, others, world, God, people, partner. It's all what we call identity, right? And then it's split in different areas of your life, career, relationships, health. That's one. The second one, among all those things, what bothers you the most now? What blocking you in life? And what is the root cause of it?
Right.
So the root cause is the ultimate goal of the first part. And when you find the root cause, we want what to do? We want to change it. We want to revise it. So we want to make it work for us, not against us.
Right.
And that root cause, it will be what we define as particular core story or belief covered by emotion, physical sensation, behaviors, patterns, actions, thoughts, etc. The whole complex program, right? And then the task of me as developer of the app or therapist is to find the right tools to address that program.
Right. So I imagine like an onion, you peel off all the layers until you finally get to the root cause.
And there are so many tools. There are millions of tools in the world. And if we go blindly, we just keep doing things and not always the right things, right? A lot of people who go on spiritual journey, we start with meditation, then we do yoga, then we do different energy work. And then sometimes we feel like I'm stuck, right? I was stuck at some point with meditation.
Right.
Because meditation would always bring me outside of my body. But what I needed safety in my body.
Okay,
so I was not addressing safety.
Okay, I see.
I close my eyes, I'm out of my body, I feel good, I feel bliss. I come back, I open my eyes, and I was like, I don't want to be here.
Right.
Right?
Understand. So it did not work for you in that way, right? It helps to relax, I guess. But okay, so what is the app doing? I mean, I saw a lot of amazing reviews and people find it super helpful, super useful. Because, I mean, I'm thinking about you are not physically there, right? So there is actually not really a supervision. I know that you have your group of people that you work with continuously, but there are some users that get on the app and there is actually no physical supervision.
Right.
And you're working with AI. So how do you kind of, first of all, make sure that everybody gets a result, and then I think you kind of trust AI to do its job as well, right?
Right. So we use very complex AI models based on the complexity of everything what we're talking about. They're trained by the different therapy frameworks, by different therapy papers, scientific papers, research, which is mostly around subconscious mind. Subconscious mind, inner child work, internal family systems. There are many, many different modalities.
So that's where your psychological background comes in. So this is okay.
So then it will be also my own the therapy notes and my own frameworks that I developed. I have very structured mind, so that structure I'm bringing to the app and to AI as well. And then we also constantly get user feedback, because whatever information or reflection the model provides, user can say yes or no, right? How it is aligned with them. And also based on the other answers, we understand and we give that feedback to the model to tell you are right or you are wrong, right? So every time when the user interacts with the model, it's improving. Right. So now what's the goal of the model? It's not to tell you who you are or what you're supposed to do, but again, to ask you right questions. Same as coach will do, same as therapist will do. The mastery of therapy is to ask you the right question, right? And when I ask you the question and I see tears in your eyes, I know that it hits something.
The app doesn't see this though, right?
So the app can see it through the language.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
Because with the app, so we have questions, but we also have conversations. And each conversation, it is tailored to that particular person to speak their own language.
So it's that sensitive. It catches the emotions.
Right.
Wow.
Right. So that's why many of our users, and this is their favorite feature, is to talk with the model. They would say, I ended up crying so much, but it was beautiful tears because it was a release. Right. And this is how I was developing as well, those conversations. There was many moments that I would sit and cry because it hit something.
Okay.
Right. And it hits for a few reasons. First, it already knows about you. It knows your background. It knows your primary emotions, right, which are still maybe repressed or stored. So it will go there. It knows the language you talk about, right? Are you spiritual? Are you scientific? Are you more abstract? Are you more detailed? Right?
Okay, so by the time it reaches a certain point, it has all that information.
And of course, it knows what kind of questions to ask, right? What kind of questions to ask so you can open up. The questions that you're supposed to ask yourself, we just, again, don't have space for that. Right? And the greatest journey to healing or to building relationships is that honesty with ourselves. And this is maybe one more component that app brings, is you can be fully honest without fear of judgment. That sometimes even with therapists is hard.
Yeah.
Right? You feel a lot of people come to therapy and think,
they're being judged, right?
Yeah. Or I have this big thing to say, but I say maybe like in few months.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Whereas with an app, there is less inhibition, right? Because there's not another person. And okay, interesting.
So they can be honest with the app, but actually what is happening, they're honest with themselves. I can tell about my darkness. And when I acknowledge my darkness, it's not darkness anymore.
Yeah.
Right? When you come to the dark room, it's darkness. When you put the light, the awareness in particular corner, it's already not dark anymore. Right? So that's exactly what's happening. And awareness is the healing. The app helps to you to be honest. Honest with yourself, and unpeel that onion, until you understand that whatever I done in life, there was reason for that. And that reason was here. And I feel compassion to that part of me.
Okay.
Right? That created that behavior.
But where are the limitations of the app? I mean, I totally agree. It's really good. I mean, as you say, sometimes with a therapist, you feel like you need to express, you're still wearing a persona, basically, right? Yeah. You feel like you want to be seen in a certain way, certain things you don't want to talk about, which an app makes you feel much more safe because you don't have this fear of judgment or whatever. But where are the limitations in the app? I mean, did you ever experience that someone had a negative experience or...
So there are maybe a few limitations I want to mention. The first one is, of course, we want our users to be very safe. That's why we put a lot of safeguards in the way that if the person becomes feeling some very intense emotions, we will ask them to either call helpline or redirect to the expert, right? Depending on which state of mind they are at.
So you have experts as well that they can call?
So for now, we just redirect to the generic helplines. In
Okay.
every country, you will have the number.
Okay, I see.
But in future, we want to have expert on our app.
Okay.
So they can also speak to the real human. That's one. The second one, the app will give the grounding exercises, right? So they will regulate, okay, if the emotions become too intense, let's breathe together, let's ground together, let's come back to the present moment, right? So there will be a lot of tools that we use for the person to navigate the different states.
So the AI can actually detect what is the state of anxiety, what is the state of, is it like is it like a yellow flag or a red flag, something like that? Can I imagine like that? So if it's a bit like just a little bit of anxiousness, then you have a breathing, a meditation. But if the app realizes, okay, that's more severe, then it directs to a helpline or something like that.
Absolutely.
Okay. And that's 100% reliable, more or less, right?
Yes, so I would say we are over cautious than under cautious. So sometimes you can be okay, but the model will say, did you consider talking to therapists? But we better be like that, right? Than overlook something.
Yeah.
So exactly, it will be like 4 categories of people. We also adding soon the wearables, like to have the signals, a biofeedback, and it will make it much more precise.
Right, with the biofeedback, of course. Yeah, wow.
The heartbeat, the stress level, how you slept, etc. Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's, I mean, I admire you for bringing all that complexity together. It's amazing. I mean, I still have so many questions, especially regarding AI. I mean, I'm also like an avid AI user, and but I think that would get way too complex. Just let's try to wrap this up. And there is a question that I ask everyone at the end, which is like, just imagine there is like a loudspeaker that tunes into you and that speaks to the whole world for 5 to 10 minutes. It can be anonymous. It doesn't need to be you, but there is a message that you would like to tell the world. What would that be?
Yeah, I will come back to my initial message. We are all whole, we are all complete. There is nothing to improve, we just need to let go what is not us. And be fully, authentically us, because it's our superpower. Imagine the person with all those combination of qualities, and there is no one like you. And this is only your superpower. And the more and more we step into that superpower, as more we enrich the world around us, our experience, as more we are present, and as more we feel life to the fullest. Because we can feel life to the fullest only when we are truly ourselves, when we're present in our body, because pleasure comes from our body. When we're present in our mind, we can perceive everything what's happening. And when we're present in our heart, that we can connect with everyone around.
Wow. That's amazing.
And this is given to every single person in the world. That alignment, mind and heart and body. And we just need to come back to ourselves, come back to our authentic self. And that's the formula of happiness in life.
Wow, amazing. I really like that. Thank you so much. And for people who want to find out more, where can they find you? Which channel? Like in case are you okay to discuss things?
Yeah, absolutely.
So how can people find you on your website, right? Instagram?
Yes, so I have Instagram. It's called Tania Odyssea, where I share some thoughts about purpose, about happiness, about healing, about spiritual journey. I also have the website for our Odyssea app. It's Odyssea.ai. I'm also on LinkedIn as Tania Kodliuk. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I mean, First of all, I wish you a lot of luck with your mission to impact 400 million minds, which is amazing. And I hope you can join us in Tania's journey. I'm definitely part of it. And well, thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom with us so generously today. And I hope you enjoyed the episode and look forward to seeing you next time.